Welcome back, everyone, to the late night review. And tonight I'm going to review another mafia movie, and obviously, it's a classic. It's in some people's eyes, and probably most people's eyes. It's the best mafia movie of all time, The Godfather. I have my personal favorites. This is always fighting for like the top spot or the top two or three spot. I wanted to do more videos about mafia movies because I always loved mafia movies. But they never got a lot of views on my channel. I did a video about Casino, and it got some views, but not a lot. I did a video about Goodfellas, a movie review. It didn't get much. So I hesitated to go back and do more because they never got a lot of views compared to like my martial arts movie reviews, which I love martial arts movies. Some of those get thousands of views, but my mafia videos only got just like 100, 200, 300, something like that. Not even 300. I think it's less than that. But yeah, so I wanted to do this earlier, but I didn't because I never really got a lot of views for my mafia movie reviews. I love mafia movies. I grew up watching The Godfather, Al Pacino. There's so many great actors in here. Al Pacino, Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, James Caan, a great supporting cast. There's plenty of actors in here I'd seen in other movies. Talia Shire. And I grew up watching this movie. I like mafia movies very much. I'm half Italian. My mom was 100% Italian. She passed away, but she was 100% Italian. And I think on her side, my dad wasn't Italian. He was Norwegian, German, Scotch, and Irish. My mom was 100% Italian. I think on my mom's side, they told me that we're distantly related to Joseph Bonanno, one of the mafia bosses. And then I think we're a distant relation to Jim Croce too, somehow, because my mom's maiden name was Croce. But yeah, and then my grandfather, my Italian grandfather, came over from northern Italy. My grandmother was from she was from Sicily, but my grandfather, my Italian grandfather, came from northern Italy, and he came over on the same boat as Primo Carnera. That's what my mom told me. My mom told me that he came over on the same boat as Primo Carnera, and so yeah, I always loved mafia movies. Not that it's just because I'm Italian I gotta love mafia movies, no, but I always grew up watching The Godfather, Godfather 2, and The Goodfellas. I don't know exactly what my favorite mafia movie is of all time. It used to be The Godfather, and Goodfellas grew on me. Sometimes I like Goodfellas the best. Casino grew on me. Sometimes I like that the best. Maybe I'll rank them one day. I don't know though, because I never get a lot of views for my mafia movie movie reviews. It depends on how many views I get for this video. We'll see. If I get a lot of views, I might do more. If not, then maybe not for a while. I hope it does because I love mafia movies. I even love the Valachi Papers with Charles Bronson. And if you've seen a lot of my videos, especially about Charles Bronson, I really always loved Charles Bronson. I think he was one of the best underrated actors of all time too, not just an action movie star, but I think he was an underrated actor. In fact, Sergio Leone, he said that Charles Bronson was the greatest actor he ever worked with, or one of the greatest, and that says something about Charles Bronson's talent for Sergio Leone to say something like that. But anyway, Godfather is a classic. Most people have seen it, especially if they're into mob movies and if they're of my generation. I was born in '77. I saw this on videotape, and then I seen it rerun on the pay channels and then on TV. Eventually, I recorded it when it came on and watched it over and over again. Love the concept, love the story. I like how they deal with, at the beginning of the movie, the man comes there and asks for justice from Marlon Brando, the Godfather, because his daughter was victimized. I always love that about mafia movies, how they will go after the bad guys when the police can't, or when there's no justice, the mafia will get justice for them. And even though they're involved in illegal behavior, they're involved in a lot of bad stuff themselves that they shouldn't be doing. I always love that about mob movies, that, you know, they won't let a lot of bad people get away with stuff, and they'll take them down, take them out. I always love that about mafia movies, the justice, the revenge aspect. I don't like when they get into drugs and do some of the bad stuff that they do, but I always like that aspect where they punish criminals even though they're outside the law themselves. And The Godfather has that in there, definitely. The characters are good. It's dramatic. Everyone is pretty different. Al Pacino's different from James Caan's Sonny. Michael's different from Sonny. Then you have Robert Duvall, a great actor. He plays Consigliere in here. And Robert Duvall's always been one of my favorite actors. And I mention him because I'm going to mention Pacino. They're both very well known. I think Pacino is a little more well known than Robert Duvall. So I was just going to mention Robert Duvall. And then Brando's a little more well known. But people know Robert Duvall a lot. They know him too. I always liked his acting. I liked him in Apocalypse Now. He was in it's funny too. He was in a Twilight Zone episode called Miniature, and I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's one of my favorite Twilight Zones. He plays a guy named Charlie who has his issues. He's an awkward person. He keeps to himself, but he's fascinated by this little miniature, and he goes to this museum. But anyway, it's a fun Twilight Zone. Back to the movie. Sometimes I think about other movies when it's involving. And I liked him in Falling Down with Michael Douglas as well, Robert Duvall. And of course, To Kill a Mockingbird, I believe. And multiple films that I'd seen him in. He was in The Great Santini. I seen that when I was a kid. And just Colors. I grew up watching Colors with Sean Penn and Robert Duvall. That was really a good movie. Great actor. He brings the character to life. And Al Pacino, of course. I grew up watching The Godfather, Godfather 2. I even like Part 3. Goodfellas and Godfather 3 came out close to about the same time. I like Goodfellas better, but I respect Part 3. I like it, and I think and nowadays I appreciate it more than I did back then. When it first came out, I thought it was fine. Now I think it's good. I think that one reason it suffers is because it's always going to be compared to the first two, and it pales to the first two. But I like it. Nowadays I like it a little bit more than I did when it first came out. But Goodfellas I like a lot more than Godfather 3. But Al Pacino, what a great actor. Serpico, always liked Serpico. True story, undercover cop, exposes corruption. They try to get revenge and hurt him for it, hurt him or kill him because he exposed corruption. They couldn't corrupt him, so they got angry about it too. But that's a different story, different movie. Always loved The Godfather. It's always one of my favorite movies. Um, Marlon Brando, of course, he was in Apocalypse Now. Kurtz, Up the River, the Dark River. And he played, what a character he played in there. Superman was always one of my favorite movies. Of course, he played Jor-El in Superman. And then people know him for all his other movies too, On the Waterfront. But I watched mostly The Godfather. That's where I knew Marlon Brando from as a kid. And then Superman. Those were my favorite movies as a little kid. Was Superman with Christopher Reeve. So Marlon Brando plays the Godfather in here, does such a good job. And the guy, I can't remember his name, but the guy, and then of course James Caan. I mean, gosh, Rollerball, Misery, the Godfather 1 and 2. The guy who plays Fredo, and I forgot his name, he was a really good actor. He passed away, he died of cancer. He was in a number of good films before he passed away. He was in Deer Hunter. He was in Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro. And I seen him in there's a couple movies I seen him in. One where he was a bank robber. It's another one. I think it might have been, It might have been with Al Pacino or Dustin Hoffman. I can't remember. It was a movie that I'd seen a long time ago. He was a good actor, and he was taken away too early, I think, from cancer, if I remember right. The guy who played Fredo, great performances in here. Diane Keaton is in here. Talia Shire, Rocky, she was in the Rocky films, does a great job in here. And if I remember right, the guy who plays the brother-in-law, the guy, Talia Shire's husband here, the guy who abused her, what's his name? Russo? Gosh, I can't remember. For some reason, Johnny, I'm forgetting his name for some reason, but in real life, in here he's abusing his wife. He plays a really bad guy. He sets up Sonny. Sonny beats him up, and then he sets up Sonny. The guy who plays him, I heard, is actually a cool guy in real life. And I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but I think in real life, he's pretty much the opposite of what he was in Godfather. In The Godfather, he plays a really bad guy who beat his wife, but in real life, he defended a woman, I think. He defended a woman who was being beaten, and I think he actually killed the guy. I think he shot the guy and killed him. And this guy was abusing either his own wife or another woman. He's hurting her bad, and he defended her. I think that's what I heard. Maybe you know more about it than I do, but I thought I heard that before, that in real life he actually defended a woman and he killed the guy who was beating her. I think he had a concealed weapons permit or something like that. I could be getting the story wrong, but I think that's what happened. Forgive me if I got that wrong, but yeah, in the movie, he's just the opposite. But he's a good actor. Him and James Caan, I heard they didn't get along in real life, but great performances, a great movie. I think Godfather, it was number one on certain lists of being the greatest movie of all time. I would not argue against that. I think it's really a great movie. I have my favorites. This is definitely one of them. I don't know if I would say it's always number one, but it's up there. It's definitely in the top 10, I would say, of greatest movies of all time. I love The Godfather. I grew up watching this movie over and over and over again. I used to watch it. I like the concept. I like mob movies. I think not only are the performances really good, the score is really good. Francis Ford Coppola at his best. The right Mario Puzo, and then the score. I believe the guy who was singing at the beginning of the movie, who was in the white kind of the white tuxedo, black little tie, white jacket, who was singing at the beginning of the movie, and he wanted a part in this film. I think he was based loosely on Frank Sinatra. I think. And I believe that Frank Sinatra was trying to get the part in From Here to Eternity, which is another movie I grew up watching as a kid. It was on AMC all the time. Montgomery Clift, Burt Lancaster, Frank Sinatra. I think he was loosely based on Frank Sinatra, the singer at the beginning of Godfather, when they're having the party in the wedding party, I believe. And he's the singer in there, and they change his name. But I think he's based loosely on. I had an Italian uncle who told me he was based loosely on Frank Sinatra, I think. And there were other parts of the film that were inspired by true events. And Luca Brasi, I think he was the real deal. The guy who played Luca Brasi, I thought he was in the mob, and I thought there were some other people in the movie that were in the mob in real life. I hope I'm not wrong about that, but it's a very authentic movie, I think. Very, very good movie. I think John Gotti went to the theater and saw The Godfather with his friends, and then walked out of the theater and said, that's us, or we should be like that, or that's what I want to do, or that's what I want to be. I think it was I think The Godfather was an inspiration to a lot of people, but I think John Gotti was probably inspired by The Godfather, if memory serves me right on that story. Great movie, great cast. The guy who plays the Turk, he was in Mr. Majestic, and he's another actor who died young too. He passed away not too long after Mr. Majestic, I think, but he was in Mr. Majestic, did a lot of good work. He was a great actor, the guy who plays the Turk in here. And he's the guy that's killed. For those who have seen the movie, he got killed at the restaurant at Dempsey's. Was it Jack Dempsey's restaurant? They called it in here. Him and then the police, the corrupt cop in here, he got shot by Al Pacino in the head. You're supposed to get him twice in the head apiece. 2 shots apiece is what they told Michael. They told Al Pacino's character. He shot him in that restaurant. Yeah, the Turk, the guy who played him, and I'm trying to remember his last name. It's on the tip of my tongue. Great actor. He was in Mr. Majestic. I'd seen him in other films as well. Very believable, gritty style, very good actor. Everyone in here does a good job. I don't think there's a bad performance in this movie. I think all the performances are really well done. Have a great cast, top-notch story, score, and it's great production too. It's one of the all-time great movies and classics of all time. And I highly recommend The Godfather. This has been a late night review. Please like and subscribe. Share this type of content with others. Share the videos and let them know about the channel so they could see the content. Please hype this up, pump it up, let people know about it. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.